Hey, Emily, guess what?
What's up, Dara?
I changed my relationship status on Facebook to in a relationship with you
Oh my god.
because podcasting together is an unbreakable bond, and I think all of my Facebook friends need to know.
I'm so happy for us.
But truthfully speaking, I don't have an active Facebook, do you?
I like used it when I was like 12 to like 15 years old, and I haven't used it since. So
Yeah, I
it's
think
been like
it's-
7 years.
But can you escape it? I can't escape it.
No.
I think it's because it's connected to so many other things like
Yeah.
Instagram and like other websites that I'll like try to delete it, but then you try to go to other websites and they're like using your Facebook to log in, and it's just like
It's exhausting. You can't. Yeah, I love having Mark Zuckerberg
up
track
my
me.
butthole at all times. Speaking
Exactly.
of Mark Zuckerberg, today we'll be tackling a prolific biopic of this millionaire genius. What are the 4 words on the movie poster? It says something funny like rebel, bad boy,
No.
coder. It's really funny.
Are you
Let me look it up.
serious?
Yeah.
That sounds like exactly not the movie that we just watched.
So today we'll be covering The Social Network by David Fincher. This is The Swamp, which is an acronym.
For some whack-ass movie podcasting.
My name is Dara. We don't usually introduce ourselves at the beginning of each episode because up until this point, our viewer base has mostly just been our moms. But we've recently hit a stroke of TikTok luck, which has brought us in some new viewers. So if you're new to the pod, welcome. We're so happy. We've gotten some really nice like DMs and messages. And honestly, you know the emoji that has like the big eyes and you put the 2 fingers
Yeah,
under it that
yeah.
are touching. That's how I feel every time somebody says that they like our podcast.
Yeah. Thank
So
you all.
we really appreciate it. We're about to pop some champagne live.
Yeah, we hit 1,000
Yeah,
downloads.
1,000 downloads.
Yeah,
Woo!
so-
And I believe we're in every continent except Antarctica now.
Exactly. No, we just got to get the penguins to listen to us.
Or some scientists.
I think the penguins would like
Yeah,
us better,
you're right,
but
you're
yeah,
right.
no. There we go.
Okay, but so to circle back to my last point, the 4
Yeah,
words are
badass.
no, punk, genius, traitor, billionaire. Don't you hate that? The other ones
Ugh.
are you don't get to 5 million friends without making a few enemies.
Oh god. What year was this movie? 2010.
2010. Yeah,
Yeah, that
and it
adds
was,
up.
And it was up for the 2011 Oscars, which is why we picked it, because this month we're doing Oscar snubs, and I think this is really regarded as a big snub for Best Picture. A lot of people, when you say like Oscar snub, this is one of their, I would say this, Brokeback Mountain, and then a list of like specific actors. But I think for like movies, a lot of people were like really shocked that this did not win.
What did it lose to again? Wasn't it the King's
King's
Speech?
Speech, yeah. Which
See-
have you seen?
Yes, have you?
Yes, I have. And I was gonna address this. I think it's hard to compare movies because just they're attempting different things, you know? But
Yeah.
I enjoy The Social Network more than I enjoy The King's Speech.
I don't know. I feel like it's probably like a pretty even playing field for me on that one. I do love a good little historical drama, and I
Helena
love.
Bonham Carter.
Yeah, isn't it
Colin
Colin
Firth.
Firth? I
Oh,
love Colin Firth.
It's a great movie, and I'm not mad that
Yeah.
it won. I certainly, like, if this had lost to something else, I don't know, like...
Yeah, what else was nominated
So
that year?
I did write it down. It was a crazy fucking year. So it was between this, The King's Speech, Black Swan, Inception.
Jeez. Oh my god.
Yeah, right. The Fighter. The Kids Are All Right. 127 Hours. Toy Story 3.
That was up for Best Picture?
Yeah, it was True Grit and Winter's Bone.
Winter's Bone was up for that?
Yeah, so
That was like a very indie movie. I can't believe it was up for like a full Oscar.
they do that. They
They pull
stick their arm deep into the indie bucket and pull from the bottom
Yeah,
on occasion.
just randomly. They're like, this one is kind of okay.
Right, but so I think that was a crazy tough year. So I think
that's insane.
It says a lot about this movie that people picked this one to be upset about, because I think you could say the same thing for Black Swan or Inception. Those are fucking crazy. I mean, all of those movies are pretty good.
Uh-huh.
And I think that is
It's a
probably
stacked list.
That's probably one of the collective strongest years in at least, the century since 2000.
Yeah, no, I couldn't think of a better year for Best Picture, honestly.
Every year that my mom and I have done our quest and seen all of them, I maybe like one or two.
Yeah.
And like that, I like fully enjoy like a lot of those movies.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to say. And I do like The Social Network. I feel like we're gonna shit on it a lot because that's what we do. But then at the end, we're gonna be like, "What's your score?" And I'm gonna be like, "Probably an 8." You know. So, but it is one of those things that I think you can watch it critically and kind of shit on it, but still like enjoy it.
Yeah. I think it's just hard to speak about. I mean, it's a good movie, but I just hate Mark Zuckerberg. So
it's certainly like an interesting subject to choose, especially since this is like
It's
a David Fincher, right? Who's
right?
usually a little
Thriller,
darker,
suspense,
right? And it weirdly fits. It weirdly fits with his thing. His whole kit and caboodle. You wouldn't think it would, but it totally does, because Mark Zuckerberg is literally worse than the Zodiac Killer. I'll say it right now.
I'll cheers to that.
If anyone wants a little tip and trick for at home, I have spiked my champagne with a little bit of Chambord. So Chambord is my key to like a good mixed drink.
It's your staple.
It is. If you just add a little Chambord to anything, it just has that like sugar content, and it's raspberry, and it's so good. So champagne and a little bit of Chambord. Get some like frozen raspberries in there.
Oh my
god,
hot.
Classy.
Nice.
Not as classy as an appletini that has olives in it.
Which like there's like a couple of upsetting things about this movie, but that's probably the top of my list. Second is the fact that it's based on Mark Zuckerberg. First is the appletini.
So we were like pretty inebriated when we watched this movie initially, and I took notes and then I forgot about it. And then, this is much later, we're recording this, and so I took sober notes because I was like, I need notes. But then my mom found these and she was like, hey, do you need these? And I was like, what? And I'm trying to make sense of them, but all I have is olives in an appletini, and I remember being very upset by that when we watched this movie.
As you should be.
I don't know.
I would run away if someone
What
tried
else
to
could that
serve
have
me
been?
that.
What else could they have been? Those little cocktail onions. What else could be spherical in the bottom of
Literally
a martini
nothing.
glass? Ugh.
It's either onions or olives, and both are. I don't know which is worse.
Have you ever had an appletini?
Yes.
I don't think I have, but I think I could
think
probably.
you have, actually. We had Oh no, you weren't here for this. Because my mom over the summer, we had like these small viewing parties for different musicals, and she's a big Hamilton fan, so we had Hamilton, and we had like appletinis there, and it was pretty good.
Is there a thematic connection? George
I don't
Washington.
want to say it.
What is the thematic connection?
It was called a Hamiltini. Or something like that. I don't know.
You can make any martini work for that, though. So I respect that you chose
I think it was
apple.
that. Yeah.
A fruit martini I can sometimes get down with. A straight martini, we've discussed this before, just like straight liquor with nothing to cut it, I just really can't get down for that.
Yeah, no, it's really tough. But yeah, no, appletinis, I mean, they're pretty good, pretty sugary, you know what I mean? Because it's just like green apple liqueur and then vodka, and that's like it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying
It's
to
just neon green, and you're like...
So, when Mark Zuckerberg saw this movie, initially he was like, no, I'm not gonna go see that stupid movie about me, but then he, like, bought tickets for a bunch of people at Apple, and, like, 100 people, they, like, filled the theater. And so he went and saw it, and then he afterwards, like, and then somebody was asking him what he thought of it, and he was like, I've never had an appletini. And... So then
I like that that's what he had to defend. And he's like, let me get this straight. I have never and will never drink an appletini. I want to go on record.
He went out afterwards and drank one, and he liked it so much that he made it the official cocktail of Facebook. But overall, he does state that he did not like this movie. He thought he wasn't represented well. He said that the only part about him that they really got was his clothing, which is... horrible. But he's like there's nothing glamorous about coding, so obviously this movie embellished a lot of things because you couldn't make like an entertaining movie about me coding Facebook. It just wasn't that interesting. But here's the thing, Mark Zuckerberg, the movie isn't about you coding Facebook. It was about you being an asshole to everybody around you. So like, even...
I like that's what his takeaway was. He's like, coding's really not like that. And he just can't even see that this movie is just one giant roast.
It certainly doesn't make him look great, and it doesn't even touch on the beginnings of the worst things that he has done.
Yeah, no. Imagine if this came out.
We just both just burped at the same time.
We're just so in sync. This is what happens when you start a podcast together.
Our periods are synced up together. We can communicate telepathically now.
Yeah.
We poop at the same time. It's really tough. Sorry.
What were we talking about?
We're talking about Mark Zuckerberg thought this movie was not that good.
I had a train of thought.
He's literally a war criminal. Mark and the fucking Crimes Against Humanity bunch.
Imagine if David Fincher made this movie today.
A fucking sequel? That's crazy. It's insane to me that Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of Mark Zuckerberg comes off as unlikable, not particularly smart, and just like overall, and I believe that is probably a better portrayal than what he's like in real life. I don't believe Mark Zuckerberg is as well-spoken and punchy as Jesse Eisenberg made him out to be. If you watch any, like, especially his court, his Supreme...
his Supreme Court, like,
not the Supreme Court,
the hearing.
The Senate. Yeah, his hearing in the Senate. He's not that well-spoken. He's kind of skitterish. He looks like an alien inhabiting a human's body.
Speaking of that, I want to talk about the fact that casting Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg was probably the most generous thing that David Fincher did for Mark Zuckerberg in this entire movie.
Which is saying a lot because Jesse Eisenberg fucking sucks.
No, he's not particularly attractive, at least in my opinion, but like comparatively to the Zuck, he's a 10 out of 10. Like, do you know that entire conspiracy where, like, it's, like, the most influential people in the world are lizard people?
Yeah.
Like, I don't buy into that, but if I stare at a picture of Mark Zuckerberg for long enough, I start to have my doubts.
It's the beady eyes for me.
It's horrifying. Like, if anyone listening, just go look at a picture of Mark Zuckerberg for, like, 3 minutes and tell me that I'm wrong. Like,
or especially if you look at pictures of him over the years, he looks like a different person. Like, he used to look like a human. He used to look like a person. And now he looks like a fucking...
It's either an alien or a lizard person. Yeah. There's no in between. He's not a human being. You can't convince me of that.
He's so strange looking.
I think it's the haircut, too. Like, he just has tiny little bangs, almost. Like, his wife definitely cuts his hair for him.
Oh my god. So, another thing that Mark Zuckerberg really had to say about this movie was that he was dating his now wife in the correct timeline of when he invented Facebook. So, the whole... him being single and the Rooney Mara, Erica Albright situation like that, I guess, was not a part of the accurate timeline of the Facebook or whatever. And I'm just like, you're just like nitpicking at details to like roundabout avoid the fact that this movie just
That's what he did in the Senate.
He's waffling.
Yeah, Rooney Mara's character is objectively like the best one in the entire film.
Oh my god. So this movie is riddled with just amazing dialogue points, but good luck with your video game. Just does it for me. Rooney Mara dunking on Mark Zuckerberg in a restaurant full of people, and he kept being like, hey, can we talk outside? And she was like, no, you're gonna murder me, you psychopath. And then she says, good luck with your video game. And oh my god, I would say that is a very high point of this movie for me, which says a lot because there are so many.
That's like the first 5 minutes of the movie, too. Like, they really start off strong.
That first conversation that the movie opens on, though, between the two of them, it is so unreal. Like, nobody talks like that. Even the smartest of smart people do not talk like that back and forth to each other. Which I feel like, I don't know, kind of tonally sets the movie as, like, this is gonna be about like weird interpersonal relationships. Drinking champagne during this was probably not the smartest idea because I'm holding back a burp with every word. But so watching this movie is my Joker origin story. I will just say that now. Like, this movie
just please say more.
This movie just makes me, I mean, maybe not this movie, but just like the concept of Facebook and like that's the person who runs Facebook, and you think about how influential Facebook is in literally every fucking aspect of everything, and it's like, oh wow, I want to murder people.
Yeah, I remember seeing the stats at the end of the movie. It's like X amount of people have joined Facebook, like at this point. And it wasn't.
It was
like,
in 2011.
Yeah, and
that was 10 years ago.
It wasn't a big number, and like seeing how much it's grown now to like I don't even know how many people are on Facebook now. It's like an absurd amount.
Every person.
Yeah.
Every person. There was a period of time where my grandma would harass me at almost every family holiday that she thought I was like avoiding her Facebook friend message, and I was like, no, I just don't go on it.
Yeah.
And now she's fully on Instagram, and we're friends on Instagram now, which is better. But
the fact that Facebook owns Instagram makes me
and now like older people are migrating to Instagram. It's very normal for like Gen Z, baby boomer age people to have Instagram now. It's like no longer the like young people spot, which is
it's not just for us anymore. Yeah, no, my mom's on Instagram. My dad's not on Instagram yet, but Bob, get with the times. Come on. He doesn't listen to this. And thank God.
This is going to be a running thing where you and I just talk about our dads who don't listen to this.
I'm thankful mine doesn't.
Oh, I mean, probably me too. But so 2.8 billion people are on Facebook, which is crazy. Because how many people are on the planet? 7 billion? That's like a good chunk.
Yeah, no, that's...
But the fact that, so Facebook, I mean, I'm not really smart enough about this to talk about it, like, intelligently. So if you want further information on this, definitely go seek it out yourself. But the fucking genocide in Myanmar that is caused by, well, that's like what
Did you watch this in the Social Dilemma? Did you hear about that? Because I watched the Social Dilemma recently and they covered this and it's fucking crazy.
It is. And it's just like the lack of oversight from Facebook causing a genocide in...
No one's talked about it either. No one talks
because it's in a country
Myanmar,
it's a country that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Speaking of Myanmar, Anthony Bourdain has a really great one of his episodes where he goes and he eats a lot of food there. So if you want a positive representation of Myanmar, go check that out. But yeah, nobody talks about it and it's literally crazy. But that's what all of those clips of him like being not well spoken in the Senate are about, was like him trying to defend Facebook.
Yeah, and which you can't.
Oh my god, it's crazy that it's at that point that's how influential Facebook is, that he could literally be tried as a fucking like a war criminal for crimes against humanity. That's insane. Facebook is evil.
The official stance of this podcast is fuck Facebook.
Which, so like this movie I think is just a descending ladder of horrible men, and toxic masculinity is for sure at the core of this movie. And it's self-aware, it's obviously addressing it.
David Fincher knows what he's doing.
Yeah, through the characters and the portrayal of just like a shit person. But it's crazy that Mark Zuckerberg might not be the worst person represented in this movie. And so to start, I'm gonna say,
do we have a tier list?
I'm going through. So this is like my rough tier list. You could fight me on this, but so Jesse Eisenberg, not maybe objectively horrible, but has been pretty rude to people in real life.
Oh yeah, didn't I show you that video of him with
the interview? Yeah,
no, I really liked that this movie was just him pretty much playing himself. Like, when actors do that, it's like Jake Gyllenhaal playing Mr. Music in Sack Lunch Bunch. Like, that's just him being him.
Which is why... never mind, I'm not going to get into it, but...
We're going to go on a Jake Gyllenhaal tangent.
That is a point for another time. That's a whole other podcast.
That's for when we do Brokeback Mountain in June.
Ooh, I'm getting shivers. But... Are you saying? Oh, when people just play themselves. And Jesse Eisenberg has said in interviews that like this movie was so hard for him because he had such a hard time like playing somebody so different from himself. I'm like, are you
not true?
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? He's the same in every movie to some degree or another. He's always like that, like dry, kind of.
I feel like I've only ever seen him in like 3 movies. It's like this, Zombieland, and like what's that one with Kristen Stewart? American Ultra or something.
I was gonna say Adventureland. Was he in 2 movies with Kristen Stewart?
Adventureland.
Yeah, it's like him, Ryan Reynolds, and Kristen Stewart, and they work at a theme park together.
I've never fucking watched that.
Well, he plays himself in that, too.
Yeah, no.
He's also Lex Luthor, which, again, just...
Who cast him as Lex Luthor?
But, so he is just himself in almost every movie, but he is kind of a dick in real life. Yeah. There's a certain interview that it's kind of got exposed.
It's for Now You See Me, so if anyone wants to look up Jesse Eisenberg Now You See Me interview, I'm sure it'll be the first thing that comes up on YouTube.
But so, like, maybe objectively not horrible, but probably just not that great of a guy, Jesse Eisenberg. And then...
Are we ranking the actors or, like, the people in the movie?
Well, I'm just including Mark Zuckerberg in this list as, like, a concept.
Okay.
You know? But so then we're moving up to Justin Timberlake, which...
I fucking hate Justin Timberlake.
Right, and we got some... viewer like questions. We asked people on our Instagram to send in some questions, and somebody Nicole said Justin Timberlake ... electric chair.
Yeah,
which is like valid.
She's right, and she should say it.
And especially after the new Britney Spears documentary, a lot of people are talking about it. But just
how
misogynistic, so manipulative.
The whole Janet Jackson thing
so
makes
fucked
me
up. Like, why has he been a part of Hollywood for this long?
I don't know.
Riddle me that. Let's get rid of him.
He's not a great actor. Like, he can act, I suppose. He can do those movies with Mila Kunis or whatever. Like those little rom-coms, but like,
yeah.
I'm sure someone could have certainly done this role better than Justin
Jonah
Timberlake.
Hill.
That would have been great. Yeah, no.
I mean, literally just anybody with curly hair. I don't know.
No. There's so many other actors.
But so, like, yeah, so moving up with actual things he has done to be horrible, Justin Timberlake, fuck that guy. Then you have Mark Zuckerberg, which is quite a big jump, but, like, war crime, evil overlord Mark Zuckerberg. And, again, not gonna really talk about this in any sort of intelligent way, but seek out more information about the Armie Hammer situation.
Oh, God.
So, it's kind of up in the air whether he has murdered or is an actual cannibal or not. It's still kind of being revealed at this present moment, but the sexual assault allegations are
very true,
coming from more than enough sources for it to absolutely be true. You can look into it because it's absolutely fucking disgusting, the things that he has said and done to these women.
Foul.
And I guess accused murderer and cannibal. Which, how can you be worse than Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
Who caused a genocide? I mean, maybe Mark Zuckerberg in a roundabout way is worse than Armie Hammer,
I would say they're
indifferent.
They're pretty even.
But that,
like, one is a close second to the other.
How can so many horrible people all be attached?
And then there's Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, right? Who's so lovely. How many days old were you when you learned that he was British?
Oh my God, that's a good question.
When is he ever a British character? Like, never.
I don't think
Right?
Yeah, no.
He's almost always doing an American accent.
And he's so good at it now.
Yeah. I just fully believed it. I feel like it was well into my life I learned he was British. I think it was maybe when he guest judged on Drag Race. It's an amazing episode. He's so good.
He did Drag Race? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, we'll have to watch that sometime. I love him. He's a sweet little man.
I really think it was then, and I was like, he's doing a bit right now. And then I was like, oh shit, no.
He's really into this.
No, he's fully British. Like, that's crazy. Everyone commends Tom Holland for his American accent in Spider-Man. No. Andrew Garfield's American accent. Unclockable. Unclockably American.
No.
Andrew Garfield.
He might as well be American at this point.
Such a chameleon that he was a Latinx character in this movie? Question mark?
That was...
That's so fucking weird. I'm like, are they trying to pass off white, Jewish, British Andrew Garfield as being Hispanic right now? Like, his name is Eduardo. It's weird, and I don't really recall if it's only implied or if they literally mention, like, his dad is in Brazil. I think they say that at one point.
Yeah.
So strange.
Yeah, no.
They could have just not done that.
What, had Andrew Garfield play him?
No, had Andrew Garfield's character be, like, overtly not white. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's based off of a real person, so his name would have obviously still had to be Eduardo, but...
Yeah, I don't know the whole background of it, so I'm not gonna, but...
So, I don't know, it's just such a weird choice.
But it's like Andrew Garfield, like, dude...
I would say he's probably the best part of this movie.
I 100% agree. Yeah, no,
so amazing.
He was the person who I enjoyed to watch the most, for sure, and I think that most people can agree with that.
And, like, objectively, his character is probably the type of person who I would probably hate the most. Like, business major Harvard guy, really into, like, the frat that he's in, comes from a lot of money, wears a suit all the time. And for
Hey,
what?
His Prada's at the cleaners.
Along with his hoodie and his fuck you flip-flops. but he's always in a suit. I don't know, just like everything about him.
You got what's the
Respect the drip. Sorry, now that we're on.
I was gonna say look good, feel good.
Apples and oranges. But for real, everything fundamentally about that character would probably make him my least favorite person in the movie, and yet Andrew Garfield just tugs on my heartstrings and makes me fucking love him. He's
just trying to do the right thing.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good. And it starts right when Mark Zuckerberg, I get Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Zuckerberg, whatever, says...
They're both the same person.
Says to him, he's like, hey, I like need your help, or like... he says something along those lines. Like, I
need you to invest in this thing that I'm building.
He's like, oh, I need your help. And he's like, I will do anything for you. Yes. And he's like, oh no, I just need your code that ranks chess players or whatever. Because he needed to like borrow his code for the fucking Facebook code or whatever. And the fact that Eduardo was willing to do anything for him in that moment shows what kind of friend he is.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg is a piece of shit, as this movie so tells.
Yeah, like, I'm surprised that he was even, like, friends with Mark Zuckerberg, like, to begin with. Because, like,
maybe
it's not like he became a piece of shit, I don't think. He seems like the type of guy that was probably just always a piece of shit.
It might be, though, that, like, everything I just said about him being that kind of guy that I probably would hate is only resolved by the fact that Andrew Garfield was playing him and made him so lovable. That guy probably is not that great. Like, if you're... I don't know, Harvard investor, daddy has money, you're probably a piece of shit too, I don't know. Or at least, I don't know, at least on that same, like, playing field of, like, self-ego. If you go to Harvard, I mean, I think now it's a little different, but I think, like, back in the day it was so, like, prestigious. I mean, it is still prestigious, but, like, now that more, like, diversity and inclusion allows lots of different types of people to go to those prestigious universities, whereas I would argue that, like, 10 years ago, it was still very, like, rich, white, upper-class people who could afford to pay for it. So maybe it does make sense that they would be friends.
Yeah, no, I can see it.
Did you see that the Winklevoss twins are finally billionaires? This came out, this was in the news like a couple of days ago, actually.
No, I didn't. Good for them.
Yeah, they invested in Bitcoin.
Of course they did.
They were only millionaires to begin with, and now they've invested in Bitcoin, and they're billionaires.
Oh my goodness. How do you think they feel about being played by Armie Hammer now?
I don't, like, want to come off as insensitive, because it's not funny to make jokes about people who are rapists at the sake of the victims and whatnot. Yes. But I will say that him playing twins in this movie is pretty funny because one of the twins ate the other twin, and now there's only one Armie Hammer. Or two Armie Hammers. Imagine the destruction. I don't know. I'm workshopping it. I'm keeping it.
Yeah, keep that one for your stand-up.
But probably the Winklevi. The Winklevi twins probably think nothing of it. They're Bitcoin billionaires. They probably don't give a shit who plays them in a stupid biopic.
I wonder if Eduardo's a billionaire.
Probably.
I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with his 0.003 shares of Facebook, probably still.
It's tough. Yeah, can we just acknowledge that that's the best scene in the movie?
Of course. By far.
Yeah, no one... It's you can't argue it.
Andrew Garfield is like, okay, is like a conventionally attractive, like, guy or whatever, but, like, you know, maybe doesn't toot my horn.
Yeah.
The way a Jake Gyllenhaal would, if you will.
Yeah.
But him smashing that laptop, I'm like, you can throw me to the ground, Eduardo.
Seeing him next to Justin Timberlake too just really solidifies it.
Yeah, right. Really makes him look very good. The fact that his two other like leading men are JT and Jesse Eisenberg. Andrew Garfield really like made out good with this movie for sure.
Yeah, no, that was certainly the
pinnacle of
the pinnacle of the movie. Which, I mean, it's not that riveting of a scene comparatively to like any other film almost, which like brings me to the point that I don't love this movie It's kind of, in my book, like one of David Fincher's more boring films.
Yeah, which is crazy because I think it's still a really great movie and I really enjoy watching it. But his body of work is so fucking good.
You get like Gone Girl or Seven, or
Zodiac,
fucking girl with the dragon tattoo, and then there's just The Social Network.
which is really telling of how great of a director he is. That this really good movie is like on the lower end of the spectrum.
I've got to chalk it up to the pacing of the film entirely, because like there was definitely some points where I was like, okay, I'm kind of on the cusp of being a little bored, but I never actually made it there because it's a very fast-paced movie.
I think the dialogue helps so much. Shout out to Aaron Sorkin, like really does it in situations that would otherwise be almost unbearable to watch. Fucking like rowing competitions, upper level Harvard people, like at a cocktail party, frat bros, frat broing it up. Like that sounds unbearable to watch, but the like punchy dialogue and so many iconic lines in this movie just really, definitely capture my attention and keep me interested in a story that is objectively very boring.
Yeah. It's just Mark Zuckerberg and
coding and then being in a lawsuit. The two most boring things. Finance and computers.
Yeah, no. This is probably David Fincher's greatest feat, is making this movie interesting.
Right, because
which is why he should have won the Oscar.
Right, the Zodiac Killer, objectively kind of intriguing. Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg? Come on. But
would you rank this higher or lower than the Zodiac?
Oh, lower. Zodiac I really like that movie a lot.
See, that one was one that I felt like the pacing was bad. Worse. Yeah, pretty bad. It's like 3 hours long too, which like you need to have really good pacing for that. So I was kind of like... I
watched that movie for the first time in a Tesla, 2 Four Locos deep on a road trip to Florida.
That's the movie you picked?
Because, like, gas stations around here don't sell alcohol for the most part. It's like liquor stores are separate than gas stations. But once you
make it out of the Northeast.
Yeah, once you pass, like, D.C., basically every gas station. And we were in a Tesla, so we had to charge the car, like, every couple of hours. So it was a long trip.
What intrigued you and made you choose Four Loko?
Because it was hilarious.
Okay. Because it was for the joke?
Yeah, it was really funny to pound a Four Loko outside of a Wawa and then get in a Tesla and watch a David Fincher movie. Just sounded like a really good time to me, so I did it.
Went to a Wawa for the first time. Me and my roommate, we literally went to New York. We saw a Keith Haring mural, and then we drove to New Jersey specifically to go to a Wawa. Just because it's so unlike any other gas station we have around here.
It's luxury.
Yeah. Like, I am... Anyone in the Northeast knows Cumberland Farms. I'm a slut for a Cumberland Farms.
Cumbies on crack is a Wawa.
Exactly. I was shocked.
A roommate from Pennsylvania who, for her birthday, her mom air shipped her through mail, priority shipped her a bunch of food from Wawa. It was like frozen or something, so it was still good by the time it got to Boston. And she like cried and ate the mashed potatoes on the floor of the kitchen because she was so happy. And I was like, it can't be that good. And then we went to the Wawa and I was like, yeah, I kind of get it now.
Like you got like the food that they had?
Yeah, like, no, it's like a Subway. You can get like a sandwich bar.
There's
fucking
a salad,
hot mac and cheese. Yeah, see, and in that environment, how can you not pound a Four Loko?
That's very, I totally...
Luxury.
So they fully sell alcohol in the Wawas down there. Yeah. That's really hot.
There was a walk-in freezer section. A walk-in freezer section full of booze.
Most liquor stores don't have that.
Yeah, it was insane.
Oh my god.
Anyways, we're getting a little off track, but still very on brand, I would say.
Just like a good Wawa.
But this, so I watched Zodiac, and I really like that movie, but I think I'm just kind of a slut for a lot of the actors in it. And that movie was blue, which really appeals to my senses more than brown. Yeah,
the color palette in this movie, like...
atrocious.
Which, khaki. It was 100% intentional.
Yeah. Because that's the personality of Mark Zuckerberg. Exactly. It's brown.
I just really fucking hated it. Like,
Okay, I want to rewind a little bit back though to the smashing of the computer scene because we had another really great like listener comment who said, "Okay, who did it better, Jesse Eisenberg and Andrew Garfield, or Sarah Ramos and Dylan O'Brien?"
Oh my God, yeah.
And we'll retweet this to our Twitter account when this episode comes out. It's so fucking funny. They reenact the breakup scene, if you will.
yeah, they did it better.
They did it better.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Dylan O'Brien.
He went
Oh my God.
balls to the walls.
All the same, like, voice iterations, idiosyncrasies as Andrew Garfield. Like, you could layer those two performances on top of each other.
It'd be
and
pretty much the same.
He got it, yeah. So, really, I loved that you brought that to our attention. We for sure will
Thanks,
be,
Gabby.
Yeah, blasting it on social media. Really good stuff. Because, yeah, if you're gonna reenact a scene to a movie, that's such a good one to pick.
Yeah, no. Have you seen? There's been tons of people on TikTok that have been doing the same thing and just doing the "sorry, my Prada's at the cleaners" bit. Like, it is one of the most, like, quotable lines from this, and, like, one of the most fun things that you could put on social media is you screaming at a hypothetical Mark Zuckerberg off screen.
Put your friend in, like, a bad curly wig. I love...
Should we do this? Should we reenact this scene?
Oh my God, I don't think I could remember that many
After we
lines.
watch Mank, we should...
Oh my God, fuck.
Yeah, we're watching Mank tonight, which is David Fincher's newest movie.
We'll address it in the future, but I just we're gonna have to get so blackout drunk that I can watch it and even bother to care.
There's always one, and I can't say always because we only did this last year, but there's like that one movie at the Oscars that you really don't want to watch, and last year was Marriage Story. We got pretty schmiz, so we're like, okay, neither of us really want to watch Mank. I like Gary Oldman, but I don't love Gary Oldman. I love Amanda Seyfried, though.
Woman abuser, Gary Oldman.
What?
Anyways, well, yeah, I'll talk to you about it later. Gary Oldman's a piece of shit. Speaking of piece of shit men, this podcast isn't about movies. It's about men who should die. Maybe not die, but just be in jail.
Some whack-ass men.
Swam? I was just gonna bring up how you feel about the death penalty. But we're not gonna get political here.
Wait, okay, we're not gonna talk about it, but I want to know what the connection was.
Well, because I said men who should be dead, and then I said, well, maybe they should just be in jail, and there is certainly...
This is like when we were doing Midsummer, and you brought up, like...
my kidney infection that I cut all of out. I had to cut out, like, 15 minutes of this podcast out from the Midsummer episode, because I told a very lengthy and irrelevant story about my first kidney infection. Baby's first kidney infection.
Wait, so the thing about that is you cutting it out entirely takes out all of the context
for your peeing in the bucket story, which I felt so bad about, but that story was so much better, so I had to leave it.
It was just, it cuts and then it's all like me. I'm like, so I did a study for $180.
Okay, so if this podcast is ever a little bit choppy, it's because I do the editing and I'm not a professional by any standards. I use a free software on my computer. But also, if it's ever choppy, it's probably because I'm cutting out minutes on minutes of myself just going off about, like,
talking about your extensive medical history.
Yeah, at this point, you all could probably diagnose me quicker than my doctor could. It's not okay. Well, you can't, because I took it out. I took it all out. So, anyways, do we want to try to?
No, I still. Oh wait, never mind. We got the connection. Okay, what?
Oh, this wasn't gonna be good at all. I was just gonna say, do we want to try to diagnose Mark Zuckerberg's mental illness? No, we shouldn't do that. I'm always worried about us getting canceled, and now that more than just my mom listens to us, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, guys, bear with us. We've only been doing this for 2.5 months. You can cancel us after we've done this for at least a year.
Yeah.
But give us until next February, okay?
Gotta get my kicks out of this. So why the fuck is Rashida Jones in this movie, huh?
Because her dad's Quincy Jones.
She comes out, like, of nowhere. And she plays such like a 3-line character too, but you're like, wait, what the fuck? Is that Rashida Jones? What? And I don't understand if her... So Fincher's all about the ending, right? And the ending of this movie is the Rashida Jones lawyer character telling Mark Zuckerberg that he might not be as bad of a guy as people make him out to be. Or something. She says something like, you're not an asshole. People just think you're an asshole. Or something like that. And I just don't understand if this movie at the end is supposed to make me feel bad for him.
Yeah, am I supposed to sympathize?
It was so weird and like out of
like, oh, he
left
made this
field.
he made this like huge revolutionary social network. Like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, right. The fact that he
He's still a
diluted,
piece of shit.
that he diluted Wardo's shares keeps me up at night. I can't believe.
Yeah, no, that Rashida Jones one was like more jarring than, you know, when Matt Damon comes out of nowhere in a movie.
We just talked about this last week.
Yeah.
The surprise Matt Damon. Yeah, the surprise Rashida Jones.
I need a trigger warning for when surprise Matt Damon. Like, you need to put that at the beginning of your movie.
Yeah, if Matt
TW Matt Damon appearance.
If I'm not watching The Bourne Legacy, I'm gonna need a heads up. Which I've never seen any of the Bourne movies. Have you?
No, I started reading The Bourne Identity, and it's like 700 pages long, and it's just, it's not bad, but I've been reading it for like 4 months, so take that as you will.
So I was reading a lot of comments about this movie, and I saw a couple that really like piqued my interest. So I did a little digging, and I read some articles about people who interpret this as a gay rom-com. And they say that this is an iconic piece of LGBT cinema.
What points do they make?
They make the points that this is a love story between Andrew Garfield's character and Jesse Eisenberg's character. And then it's all about him pining after Mark Zuckerberg and doing anything for him because he's so in love. And then obviously that big laptop scene is the heartbreak. Yeah. And that it's all a metaphor for repressed gay love. And I think that that's a really fun way to watch this movie. Don't get me wrong, that sounds like a fucking romp. To just have that in the back of your mind while you're watching it, and everything they do just like put it in the context of romance, but you cannot call this a piece of LGBT cinema.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there not enough gay movies out there? I mean, okay, there aren't, but like
pick at least
like anything else.
But I just thought that was a really like a funny and interesting take. I love watching a movie and thinking about it in the opposite way that it is. You know, you're like, oh, this is fun. This is a comedy. It is. This movie is hilarious.
I think I would enjoy it more looking at it through that lens. So maybe just like a little peck on the.
What I do want to bring up, though, like, obviously, as a movie about toxic masculinity and male characters, and it is based off of a true story, so a lot of, you know, men were the key players here. The way that this movie presents women is kind of interesting to me, because right off the bat, you do get the Erica Albright character, who can really hold her own with Mark Zuckerberg. That's the first scene is them back and forth. She can keep up with him. She is just as smart. She stands up for herself. She's like, you're a dick. Fuck you. And obviously then that kind of sets up him making himself look really bad with the whole face mash, drunk blogging about her tits being small, whatever. Rooney Mara's fucking hot.
Fucking love Rooney Mara.
In what universe does Rooney Mara date Jesse Eisenberg? Riddle me that.
That's the most unrealistic part of this movie.
Truly. And that like she would be at BU and he would be at Harvard and somehow they end up together. No. Not that BU people and Harvard people don't date each other, but the fact that she's hot, like that she looks like that, and she'd be dating like fucking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
He's got such a superiority complex with her too, like, that's Rooney Mara, do you know who you're talking to?
Her husband's the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix is gonna fuck you up.
Her wife, were you thinking about Carol?
I was. Yeah. Oh my god. The Joker and Carol are gonna come together to fucking beat the shit out of Mark Zuckerberg.
The Joker would just like be actually like doing the beating up, but Carol would just be belittling the shit out of him.
And Rooney Mara could take photos.
No.
But so beyond basically her character, I don't really know if it's intentional or not. The whole, I think her name is Christy.
You mean Brenda Song?
Brenda Song, yeah, Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior.
That was probably one of my favorite Disney movies,
yes,
as a kid.
For sure. So good, so good. Brenda Song really could kill a role back in the day. London Tipton, iconic. But I don't really know if it was supposed to be some sort of like personified character to add something to the film, because I really don't know what. But the crazy girlfriend who lights the present
spark,
on fire. And if anything, it really just showed how level-headed and good and composed that Andrew Garfield is, because she's fucking acting insane all the time, and he's kind of just like he never lashes back out at her, which made me like his character a lot more. But I'm like, what did this add to the movie, making this like ditzy kind of like girl on his arm? She orders the apple teeny. She's the crazy girlfriend that's like holding him back, ? I don't really know. And then they also portray a bunch of like underage girls, which are obviously there to make Justin Timberlake's character look bad, which it does.
Yeah.
At one point, Eduardo says, "How old are those girls?" And Justin Timberlake says, "It's not polite to ask." Which is just like, oh, gross. So yeah, it really makes him gross, which is true, but just beyond Rooney Mara's character, I really don't like the way this movie uses like stupid, like quote unquote, like stupid airhead women to like.
Well, I feel like even when it comes to Rooney Mara's character, and I mean, maybe it's just us looking at it like, oh, like she's a badass. Like I feel like a lot of people would be like, oh, she's a bitch. Kind of thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't have great representation for women, but it's like...
I would say, though, if you think Rooney Mara's character is a bitch, then you're probably also sympathizing with the Mark Zuckerberg character, which means you're watching this movie wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, even the fact that, like, she girl bosses dumping him, like, I don't know. I don't think this movie was intended to be any sort of feminist text.
No.
But kind of watching at it and trying to look at things pretty critically, I was like, what is this trying to do here? How was any of that necessary? Ugh, I don't know. Even, I don't know, Rashida Jones's character, what was that about?
It's just to put Rashida Jones there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he does need an attorney. Or she was
like an assistant. She was like a paralegal who took notes or something.
That's true.
Oh, so like I guess a fun fact is that Natalie Portman was actually at Harvard during the time that Facebook was being invented. So she had a dinner party for David Fincher and Aaron Sorkin and invited a bunch of her friends from college. Obviously, you know, she's very famous now and whatnot. And so she invited a bunch of her friends from Harvard, and they all kind of gave like a bunch of anecdotes and insider knowledge about like what the culture was like and to what extent they actually used, you know, that like consultation. I don't really know, but I think that's pretty cool that they drew a little bit from, you know, what people actually remembered it being like.
I think firsthand accounts of it is probably the best sort of research you can do. So.
And like how convenient that Natalie fucking Portman was there.
She's like throwing David Fincher a bone.
Yeah, right. She's like, I guess I'll have a dinner party.
All right, David. I owe you, so I'll gather up the troops. I thought music did a lot for this movie, honestly. Like, it's not... Okay, because it is David Fincher, and it's supposed to be...
This movie won for music.
Didn't know. That makes sense, yeah. I think it definitely does a lot, because... It's not a particularly suspenseful movie, but the music kind of carries that in that way.
And you know the brown. I mean? That tense khaki brown. And the music. No, I for real. And
they throw you a bone with
tense.
They throw you a bone with like a little bit of blue.
When everything is sepia toned, it is tense. I mean, that's how you know shit is about to go down. But this movie this movie won 3 Oscars. Aaron Sorkin won for writing, for Best Adapted Screenplay, and I definitely think totally deserved. Really just amazing. We've talked so much about how we love the dialogue in this movie. Again, somehow making the most boring fucking thing ever watchable and interesting. Just like, hats off, and clearly the Academy agreed. It won for film editing, which I don't really know much about, but I guess cool.
I can see that, yeah.
And music.
Yeah, no, the music carried a lot of the... weight, I think, but...
So, I think, speaking of how brown this movie is, I think a really fun snack pairing to do would be just, like, brown foods. Like, you could have, like, chicken nuggets, fries,
what would Mark Zuckerberg
hummus,
be eating while he's in
fucking
college?
larva. I don't know. All we really see, he drinks a beer at one point.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
I was gonna say you could get like craft beer, but I don't even think he'd be drinking like
yeah, he was like PBR.
Yeah, I was gonna say
yeah.
PBR. It's like a little alternative.
But I think that'd be pretty funny if he did just like brown foods.
Just like the most unappealing plate that you can make.
I think brown foods are so appealing. Are you kidding? That usually means it's like potatoes or fried.
Visually unappealing. Yeah.
That was like growing up, my mom would always be like, look at your plate right now, it's brown, to indicate that we weren't eating any fruits or vegetables. But yeah, I think a spread of brown foods would be really funny.
Chicken would be good, considering that I think the only thing that came up for food in this movie was the fact that Eduardo fed his chicken.
Which is like such a funny touch on like weird, like frat initiation rituals. Mm-hmm. Which I didn't really have a very traditional college experience, so I don't really know how much of that is, like, true culturally.
But no, frats do, like, a lot of fucked up shit. Like, that's no secret. Everyone knows that. I like the scene where they make them answer trivia questions out in the cold, and if they get one wrong, they have to, like, take off their clothes. Yeah. I liked that part. I mean, that's fucked up, but I think it's creative. Studying for your frat initiation.
Oh my god.
I mean, Harvard boys would probably do that, so it's on brand.
Disgusting. But I think brown foods would be a lot of fun. I don't really know. Yeah, you said chicken. I think like a variety. Chicken.
Hummus and pretzels. No vegetables.
Yeah, hummus, pretzels, french fries, maybe like fish sticks. Mm-hmm. Just go to the freezer aisle and anything brown, just fuck it up. Like that, I think could be a lot of fun.
And so drink is probably just like PBR.
Well, I was going to say you could do appletini, but honestly,
whatever, if you want like liquor, appletini. If you want a beer, just drink a fucking PBR.
Yeah, beer is brown and I think it would fit. It fits with the college vibe of this movie. They do smoke weed at one point. If you like to smoke some weed. Yeah.
Rip your bong. They have like a fucking not 12 foot, but like they have like a 6 foot bong in it.
I also do like the part where they have the competition to see who the intern will be, and they make them take a shot after every line of code or something.
It was like every 10 lines or something like that. And if they like don't hit the mark, they have to like take 2 or something. I would be on the floor after like 10 minutes.
I'm all about like a drinking based competition activity. Like I think drinking games are bad and can lead to quick inebriation, but I like to do like drunk Pictionary or like something like that, you know?
Yeah, no, that's fun.
Like that shit's fun, and that kind of gave me that same vibe of like, okay, we're gonna make these fuckers code drunk and you know see what happens.
Yeah, no.
And then I guess for drink it's very that I guess they do just drink a lot of, like they're in a club at one point. Not a lot of drinks are specifically mentioned, but
I feel like they would also drink an appletini at the club.
Yeah, I guess if you want to get very on brand and specific, an appletini, but really just anything will probably be fine. We drank wine, I think.
Yeah,
and it was great. Mm-hmm. It was great. And we ate, my mom made us fucking Oreo whoopie pies.
This was the hottest thing. It was like 12:30 at night, and Jen came around the corner
She's
with
like, hey, you guys want some Oreo whoopie pies? And we were like,
yes! They were bussin'.
Yeah. Now that we have TikTok, we have to get in on the lingo. That was really good. Let's see. This movie's so hard for Fuck, Marry, Kill because I hate everyone. Okay.
So should we just do the 3 main guys
I would
first?
say, the big 3. It's like, ew, like picking who to...
I'm marrying Andrew Garfield, obviously.
Like hands down. So, like,
but I wouldn't want to fuck either of them.
Oh, the Dakota Johnson surprise in this movie? Can we talk about that?
I forgot about her.
Yeah,
oh,
crazy.
Shit.
That scene where she is, like, sleeping with him, and he's like, I invented Napster. And then she's like, oh my god, you're Sean Parker.
Thank you for reminding me of that, because now she's going to be involved in my full movie.
Yeah, right?
So...
There's so many, like, weird pop-up characters.
So Fuck, Marry, Kill, Mark Zuckerberg, Sean Parker, Eduardo.
Ugh. Honestly, maybe I'm just going to have to dick down... Mark Zuckerberg, because he really just seems like he is one of those incel guys who just, like, if he got fucked, maybe would be a little less of an asshole. Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think he would make you feel bad right after. He'd be like, you weren't that good.
Okay, but the dick game must have been something if Rooney Mara stuck around.
Nah, Rooney Mara was definitely doing all the work all the time.
But then why did she bother? I don't know.
I think I have to go with Justin Timberlake on this one. I don't want to.
Yeah.
But like
unfortunately,
comparatively, I guess he's more attractive than Jesse Eisenberg for me, so.
And like Justin Timberlake can dance, so at least he's got that going for him, whereas, well, his character, I don't know if his character is...
But like, who has worse character, Jesse Eisenberg or...
Oh, they're both so awful, but I guess in retrospect, probably Jesse Eisenberg is the worst person.
Yeah, he is... I don't know. It's really a toss-up, like... Yeah, so... Fuck.
I might fuck Mark Zuckerberg out of charity.
Do you think... I feel like he would feel like he was doing you the favor, though.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, then I guess.
I don't know. Whatever you feel.
No, I think I have to agree with you now that I'm thinking about it. Definitely Sean Parker. Mm-hmm. And Eduardo would be a lovely husband.
Oh my god, he'd be amazing. He'd probably make me breakfast like every day.
Even though he's pining after his lover, Mark Zuckerberg, I would support him through all his endeavors. And also, I'm sure he's still fucking rich too, so that's still a sweet deal.
Okay, so fuck, marry, kill for the whole movie. I've got mine. Do you have yours?
Yes.
Okay, run it.
Fuck Dakota Johnson, marry Rooney Mara, kill the Winklevoss twins.
We are so close to having the same one. I have fuck Dakota Johnson, marry Rooney Mara.
So easy.
Kill Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that's, and I hate
Winklevoss is like a very, very good choice.
But yeah, I hate to leave Eduardo out of the conversation.
He could join my throuple with Rooney Mara. Yeah,
that would be great. Honestly, if it could be a throuple, fuck, kill, I don't know. But a shout out to Eduardo, he really carried this movie.
Yeah, 100%. So, what would you follow this up with?
It's so tough because, like, I was thinking, okay, Fincher, great body of work, right? 2 Finchers in a row, tough. You start off with this one, though, which isn't nearly as emotionally tough, I guess. Like, as one of the, like, if you were to watch, like, Zodiac and then Seven, like, fuck, that's a long 10 hours, you know? But so, I don't know, 2 Finchers in a row I think is tough, and I think you'd really have to pick the right one. I think maybe Gone Girl after this could be a really good, but I wouldn't suggest 2 Finchers in a row personally. If you're going for, like, if you want a modern Aaron Sorkin best original screenplay, I really liked from this year Trial of the Chicago 7. I think it's really
that was great.
I think it's one of the only movies nominated this year worth watching. I think it's the only one that I would, like, speak highly of.
I genuinely enjoyed that one, and I didn't think I was really gonna like it.
So if you want, like, a modern, like, a very, very new movie, I think that would be good too. But I also think something just light after this would be kind of nice. Maybe, like, I don't know, something funny. I don't know, what do you think?
I think that if you wanted to do, if you had a whole day to yourself and you were just watching movies all day and that's what you decided to do and you wanted to watch a second David Fincher after this, I'd say go with the person who was the best in this movie and watch a Rooney Mara flick as Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. Personally, that's, I think, one of my favorite Fincher ones. But if you wanted to, like, sort of, like, see how much more of a piece of shit Mark Zuckerberg is and how social media is rotting your brain. This is not light at all. You could not watch a movie, but you could watch the documentary.
The Social Dilemma.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, certainly interesting. The kid from Booksmart who plays Jared,
I know.
which we talked about Booksmart a couple weeks ago. He's in it. It's definitely, I wouldn't say it's an amazing documentary, but I had to watch it for school, and I certainly liked it. And it definitely brought up a lot of things that I hadn't really thought of before about, like, social media and our culture. So yeah, definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it.
It's just pretty eye-opening.
Or just watch like Mark Zuckerberg's. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but get a YouTube compilation. Just no, for real, of his testimony about like him defending Facebook, because it's fucking vile.
Yeah, no.
Doing the like actor's degree of separation is pretty tough for this one, because like, why would you watch another Jesse Eisenberg movie after this?
You could
like,
watch Spider-Man.
That's what I'm saying. So I was gonna say next is Andrew Garfield, but those Spider-Mans are not that. I mean, they're like fine.
I like him and Emma Stone together though.
Yeah, it's just like that doesn't. I will watch those movies because I love Spider-Man, but those would not be my pick by any stretch. And then I'm trying to think of like other Andrew Garfield flicks.
He doesn't have a lot of fun ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like you're still getting
Hacksaw Ridge or
I'm sorry. I just don't like movies about war or Christians. So that movie really didn't do it for me. Dakota Johnson, you could watch 50 Shades.
That would be fun.
And I think that could be pretty
honestly,
fun.
yeah, after watching such a brown movie.
You could watch a red movie.
Yeah, no, honestly, yeah, you could just laugh at like, you could go from amazing dialogue to terrible shit dialogue. But, like, those are fun to watch. Like, get a little drunk with your friends and watch 50 Shades.
Or just watch her YouTube video home tour of her green kitchen. Oh my god, so good.
Did you see all of the controversy when it came out that she... she was like... She had said something in that home tour. She's like, yeah, like, talking about, like, all the limes she has. And she's like, I'm actually allergic to limes.
Yeah, is that not real?
No, she's just allergic to limes.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no, I'm on, like, Sapphic Twitter, and everyone had a fucking stroke about it.
Allergic to limes in her green kitchen? That sounds like a children's book. Like, don't watch an Armie Hammer movie. That's for fucking sure. You could watch...
What else is Rooney Mara in? Carol.
Yeah.
But that's also kind of a brown movie, except for, like, their green and red outfits.
She was in Her.
I've never seen that. It starts out too slow for me to even get into.
And she was in The Lion. Did you see that with Dev Patel?
Yeah, that was a great movie.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah, no. She was in, I forget what the movie was, but I think this is where she met Joaquin Phoenix. She was in some...
Well, he stars in Her.
Oh, yeah. No. They met then. But she was in some, like, Jesus movie. I think it was about Mary Magdalene, actually.
Oh.
And it was on HBO one day, and I was like, I had seen that iconic picture of her standing at the cross, smoking a cigarette. But it was so bad.
Another Aaron Sorkin movie that I would... So, I mean, I don't know, Molly's Game. Have you seen that one?
It's been on my list.
It's about, like, the poker tournament. Yeah. And I just really like that one because they have this, like, poker player called Player X.
Wait, no, isn't it?
Keep going. He's played by Michael Cera.
Yeah.
He's played by Michael Cera in the movie, but because it's based off of a true story, and in real life, it was fucking...
Topher Grace, right?
No, it was Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, it was Tobey Maguire who played these, like, insanely high-stakes poker games, like, for real, yeah. Tobey Maguire was super into these, like, crazy, like, $1 million poker games.
Oh my god.
But he is played by Michael Cera in this movie, so it's that's not spoiling anything, it's just a fact, but...
That seems like a real... I've never seen, like, Michael Cera in, like, any very serious roles, so I've been intrigued to watch it for that reason.
Juno is serious.
That is a fucking great movie. We should definitely watch Juno sometime for this podcast.
Yeah, somebody recently was like, oh, why Carrie? She was like, why haven't you done Juno? And I was like, that's a great
great question.
Great soundtrack.
We should do an indie movies month type thing.
Speaking of indie movies, there's an indie movie pin set available to buy on theswamppodcast.com in our merch section. Links to my Etsy page. Please buy us things so we can get more microphones. Can you hear that? I bet you maybe could. So what would you rate this movie 1 through 10?
I'm gonna rank it based off of, like, how I rank other David Finchers, which is pretty high, and this is kind of lower on my list. So I'd give it like a 6.5,
Okay.
7.
I was gonna see if we could say the same number at the same time, and I was gonna say 7 because we're so in
Yeah.
sync.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 7.
Which is another really great David Fincher film.
Exactly.
Which that one I would rate like a fucking 10. That movie's.
I've never seen it.
Oh wait. Oh, it's the 3rd podcast of the month, which means
shit.
it's time for a giveaway. It's actually.
wow.
So if you stuck around this long,
Thank you,
thank
first
you.
of all.
And if you reach out to us on any platform, Instagram, Twitter, can you DM somebody on TikTok? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
DM us on
maybe?
I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know. Email theswamppod@gmail.com. Our website, theswamppodcast.
Call me. Just call me.
I will release my personal. You can come find me at my job and kick me in the face so I can go home early. No, I'm just kidding. I really like my job a lot, actually.
If you come in and punch me, I will put your name in for the poll.
But yeah, so if you reach out to us on any platform and just say like, hey, enter me or whatever, do it.
Yeah.
But also we'll put up a bunch of like fun polls and questions that will explicitly say like giveaway questions, you know. So if you answer any of those too, but so any of that, we give away stickers, tote bags, sometimes we give away merch, which is you can all look at on theswamppodcast.com.
Also, let us know if you want any other merch. Like, would you guys want t-shirts
We've
or
made
anything
one
like that?
sale. So I don't think you guys are quite chomping at the bit for it, but as time goes on, I mean, I love
Personally, I want a t-shirt,
Right.
so I want other people to want t-shirts, so I can
Maybe I'll just
justify
make us a
getting
couple.
some.
But yeah, if you guys want shit, just like let us know. I'm so balls to the wall into this
Yeah.
podcast that I will literally die for it.
Dara's
so.
our art department. She makes like all of our pins. She makes all of our tote bags. She designed our logo. So
I mean, don't give me too much credit. I wouldn't call myself an artiste by any standards, but I'm a crafty, and I would say I'm our craftsman.
Yeah, that's a great way.
But yeah, so if you guys want shit, definitely let us know. If you want to enter the giveaway, fucking let us know. We love you guys. Thank you for 1,000 downloads.
Thank you. Woo!
If you are from America, if you're from literally anywhere other than Massachusetts, that's fucking crazy to me that our reach is even as far as Connecticut.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
Our goal was my goal was like, oh, we'll have like 100 downloads by the end of the year, 100 followers.
Right,
by
and
the
we're
end
like
of the
2
year.
months in. You guys are really great, and
Thank you so much for coming along for the journey.
I don't even want to listen to myself. So the fact that you guys do is so cool.
Yeah.
But also any movie suggestions ever or questions, we would love to answer your questions
We love to talk to you guys. So
about movies, about snacks, about anything.
yeah,
So
hit us up and let us know what movie you're watching, and we can tell you what to drink with that movie.
in which case, right now I'm drinking champagne and I've been repressing burps this whole time. So got a blast. Love y'all.